is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, right? What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me, and I would thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,500 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, all right. Well, finally, took just a little side note. It took 5 games, but we finally had a good football game. Oh my God. It's basically, first 4 games are just, I don't know. I don't want to call them straight up trash, but just almost, unless you're like a Raven fan, a Texan fan, right? But, it's just, some of it was just a little tough to watch. I mean, if you're a Bills fan, right? It's a great day, great weekend. Woo! But if you're like a football fan, enjoy a good contest and all of that and closeness and excitement and nail-biting finishes, well, this was not the weekend for you. It was just, finally we did. We had one. So Washington, last-second field goal, a doinker that went in, not a double doinker, which, of course, helped the Eagles low-life, worthless piece of human trash that they are, win a football game. But this was the doinker that went through the uprights. And the Washington Commanders are on their way to Detroit because they're the lowest seeded team. Or they were 7th. I guess it was 7th. Whatever it was, they were lowest. They were the lowest seeds, maybe 6. They were lowest seeded team. So after this weekend's over, because the game tomorrow night, you got the Vikings, who are 5, I believe it. Vikings are 5, and the Rams are 4. So the winner of that game is going to go to Philadelphia. So so what are they, 6th? They were 6th. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Commanders were 6th. The Packers were 7th. So the Commanders were 6th. So the Commanders won. So the Commanders are the lowest seeded team after this weekend's over with, because the Packers were eliminated. So the Commanders, the lowest seeded, they're going to play. So it's going to be the Commanders are going to go to Detroit, right? And then whoever winds up winning, the thing is like what the Eagles will have the advantage of is that they play on grass and they play outdoors. Both those teams, you got the indoors. Minnesota. If this was back, obviously back in the 70s when football was, to me, I'm an old fart, so please forgive me. When football was football in Minnesota, they played outside because football is supposed to be played outside. Once again, I'm an old fart, so please forgive me. Not in dome stadiums, not on pretty turf and all that. No, it's supposed to be played on the dirt and the grass and outside in the elements. That's football. But the problem is with the Rams, and the Vikings, they're both indoor teams that play on turf. Now they're going to have to go to play in Philly, and next weekend the game's supposed to be. Let's see, I'm about 25 minutes from Philly, so let me see here real fast. Let me get my Weather Channel app out here. So next Sunday, what is today? The 12th. So next Sunday would be the 19th. So let's go here. As of right now, the Weather Channel app. here in South Jersey. I must say, once again, about 25 minutes from Philadelphia. That's supposed to be 41. Okay, so well, then again, I don't know. They could be playing Saturday, Sunday, so I'm not. I don't know. But looks like Saturday and Sunday's night. Looks like high in the 40s if they're playing during the daytime. They're playing maybe the 1 o'clock, or if there's an 8 o'clock. If there's an 8 o'clock game, it's going to drop down to 30, and it might get like a little bit of a rain mixture or something like that. Saturday night could have occasional rain, and drop down to, showers in the evening could drop down into the 30s. So, Sunday night, it could drop down into the 20s. So that's an early thing. Very, very early. But, regardless, whoever goes and plays in Philadelphia, those two teams are indoor teams, and they're going to go play the Eagles on the outside. So advantage Eagles. But it was a good game. Good game. Good, exciting game. I mean the Commanders and the Bucks. What was it? Mayfield had a bad turnover that led to 7 points for the to the Commanders, which really helped turn the game around. But anyway, it is what it is. But I saw this one thing. I can't remember who did it, but they looked it up, and it was unbelievable. It was just like mind blowing, right? Really, really mind blowing. If all the teams, and I'm gonna play this. There's a video. I'm gonna play it, and if all the teams, their records, 1-loss record and 1-score games were reversed. Now the Giants were 1-8 in 1-score games this year. Reverse that, the Giants would have been 10-7. Okay, the Giants would have won a division. Eagles would have been second, I think. I'm going to play the video, and the Eagles would have been 9-8. Which just goes to show you the importance of winning those close games. Now, it's a very tough thing to keep doing, just to get 1-score games. Yeah, we'll just keep winning them. It's a very difficult thing to do. It's not, obviously, no kid, as we saw with the Giants this year. But it was just kind of a little mind blowing. Like if I don't know what the Commanders or what the Cowboys 1-score record was, but once again, if you reverse them. So I'm going to play this here. And he goes from like each division here. Let's see if it loads once again here. Okay, so the guy's talking. Okay, so if every 1-score NFL game was reversed, a lot of divisions. Let me tell you what, obviously the winners would have changed quite a bit. The AFC North, the Bengals would have won, would have had a record of 12-5. They were actually 9-8, but they would have won. The Jacksonville Jaguars would have been 11-6. The Texans would have been 7-10. Jaguars would have won a division. So you would have had the Bengals win a division. The Jaguars would have won a division. The Bills still would have won, would have been 11-6, but the Jets would have been 9-8. AFC West, the Broncos would have been 15-2. I'm sorry, I'm spitting my peanuts out here. The Kansas City Chiefs would have been 5-12. The NFC North, the Packers would have won. They would have been 15-2. The Lions would have been 10-7. The Vikings wouldn't even made the playoffs. They would have been 6-11. The Bears would have been 9-8. What else we got here? The NFC South. The Bucks would have won. They would have been 12-5. New Orleans would have been 9-8. The Panthers would have been 4. That one pretty much stayed about the same. That's rather remarkable. I mean, the Saints were 5-12. They would have been 9-8. But the Falcons were 8-9, and they would have been 8-9. And the same thing with the Panthers. The Panthers would have been 4-13, but they were 5-12. So that one, the Bucs still would have won the division. But this one here, we got 2 more to go. I'm not sure if the East comes next. Okay, the East. So the Giants were 3-14. If the Giants had won all their 1-score games, now let's go over that real fast here. 2024, the Giants would have been 10-7. Oh, I'm sorry, the Eagles would have been 8-9. The Commanders would have been 8-9. The Cowboys would have been 7-10. See, the Eagles won their 1-score game. They found ways to win, right? Well, because they have a very good team and they were healthy too. That's 2 huge things. but they found ways to win those one-score games, and they were 14-3. Actually, guess what? 15-3 after today's win. But if you were to reverse that, as I said, I don't know what their record was in one-score games, but they would have been 8-9. They wouldn't even had a winning record. They wouldn't even made the playoffs. The Giants would have won. The Giants would have been 10-7. Now, Giants won one game. Giants won one. Let's see here. It was the Brown game, 21-15, right? But so that's their one win, right? But if we go here, they lost 8 one-score games. They lost to the Commanders 21-18. They lost to the Cowboys 20-15. They beat the Seahawks 29-20. That wasn't a one-score game now. Had they not blocked that extra that field goal, right? Had Simmons not blocked the field goal and Bryce Ford Wheat not run it back, that would have been a one-score game, right? But it wound up being a two-score game. So they lost to the Bengals. Then they got killed by the Eagles. Then they lost to the Steelers by 8 points. They lost to the Commanders by 5 points. They lost to the Panthers by 3 points. Then they lost to the Cowboys by 7 points. So that's 6 losses. They lost to the Saints, right? Remember the blocked field goal? So that's their 7th. And then they lost the final game of the season to the Eagles. So the Giants were 1-8 in one-score games. Now, as I said, you make the Giants 8-1 instead of 1-8. Make them 8-1 in one-score games, and they would have a record of 10-7, and they would have won the NFC East. I mean, what? Pretty mind-boggling, huh? But if we go back, right, to have a lot of games, even when as bad as the New York Football Giants are, you see, as bad as they were, they had a lot of one-score games. More than half their games were one-score games. They had 9 of them out of 17 games, and another one, they beat the Seahawks by 9 points. Almost and if they didn't block the field goal, that would have been a one-score game, right? Because they would either if the Seahawks had missed the field goal, it would have been a one-score game. If the Seahawks made the field goal, it would have gone to overtime, and then it would have been a one-score game, right? So the Giants, more than half their games were 3-14, total trash, total this, total that, absolute garbage. Blow the team up, sell the team, get rid of, move out of there, whatever. More than half their games were one-score games. Right? I said, reverse that, the Giants would be 10-7. But so if we go back to their, the 2020, I was going to say 1922 season, the 2022 season, right? What did they have success with? The one-score games, right? They were 9-7-1. Had a lot of one-score games. Holy cow! Let me find them here. Okay, 2022. I think they had 13 of them. I think it was. Okay, remember when they beat the Titans? So I'm just going to count off the one-score games that they had. Right? They beat the Titans 21-20. They beat the Panthers 19-16. Then they lost to the Cowboys 23-16. Then they beat the Bears 20-12. Then they beat the Packers 27-22. Then they beat the Ravens 24-20. Then they beat the Jaguars 23-17. So their first 7 games were all one-score games. They lost to the Seahawks by 14 points. Okay, then they beat the Texans 24-16. Then they lost to the Lions. They got whooped up on the Lions, but then they lost to the Cowboys 28-20. They tied the Commanders, right? 20-20. Then they beat the Commanders 20-12. So that's 11. Then they lost to the Vikings 27-24. Then they lost their last game of the season to the Eagles 22-16. So 13 of their 17 regular season games. Now, if you want, you go to the playoffs, right? Would have been the first game. Okay, the Vikings. Or if you want to add the Eagle one in there too. So the Giants had 14, if you however you want to look at it. right? 13 out of their 17 regular season games. I mean, one-score games. I think if I remember, I think the Giants were 8-4-1. I think in those one-score games. You have a winning record, in those one-score games, you give yourself a chance. But if you want to go throughout their whole season, 14, including the playoffs, 14 out of their 19 games were one-score games. And, 14 out of 19. And they found, so they were 9-4-1, I think it was, in all their one-score games. They had 14 one-score games. They were 9-4-1. Somehow, with no salary cap, right? With not a great team, we couldn't even keep Bradbury because we had no salary cap space. We had to give him away, right? We didn't have tons of offensive weapons. We had Daniel Jones, we had Saquon Barkley, right? We had a new coach. We had no salary cap, no money to spend, and somehow we found ways to win. We were 9-4-1 in those one-score games. Add that up, the Giants, wound up being, going to the playoffs, won a playoff road game, and of course, got blown out by the Eagles. But this season, just rather mind-boggling. If and then let me finish this up here. Is this here? Okay, and then let me see so the Giants would have won the East, but okay, in the West, who would have won? I forgot. I mean, it just goes to show you how crazy it was. The Giants could have. I guess maybe, I don't know. Maybe I missed the West. I don't know. But anyway, I mean, it just goes to show you how absolutely crazy that is. Yeah, it goes to show you, obviously, not so much. Also, two things. One, the importance of finding ways to win, especially those one-score games, but also, even as bad as the Giants are, ain't no doubt about that, right? More than half their games, be it 9, but 9 out of their 17 games were one-score games, and they were 1-8 in those one-score games. I mean, that just goes to show you. I mean, everybody's making fun of Shane and this and that and all of that. He said we're very close, and to be fair, they are. But I mean, I said if you switch that around, it made the Giants 8-1. The Giants would have won the division. I'm sorry. If you switched all the teams' one-score games, their records around, the Giants would have won the division at 10-7, and none of the other teams. I think the Cowboys and the Eagles would have finished 8-9. No other team in the division would have had a winning record. Right. So it just goes to show you. Hey, I mean, Giants. Obviously, one thing that helps winning is, not to sound too stupid, but winning, right? You win. You give yourself confidence. You find ways to do it, right? You get down to that final couple minutes or whatever, and it's like, we did this last 3 weeks in a row. We found the way to win. It's 2 minutes to go. We're down by 2 points. We just need a field goal. We got the ball. We're going to do this. Why? Because we did it. We got this. We know we can do it. We've done it. We've done it 3 weeks in a row. We got, confidence. That's huge, right? Finding ways to win, right? Unfortunately for the Giants have been just finding ways to lose. So, but I saw that. That's one thing I love about being the part of like so many Facebook groups. So many different things pop up because people look at all kinds of stats and stuff like that, and stuff I never would have thought of. But I saw that. I'm like, damn, wow, that's pretty crazy. So the Giants, once again, I mean, the Giants, we need a lot of help. But you can see the Giants were in a lot of games. But they got to find ways to win. It's just kind of odd because their first season, they found ways to win. They was all pumped up and stuff like that. Like, man, we got the coach and all that stuff and everything. It's just been going down in the dumper ever since. Absolutely amazing. Now, this one I didn't see any articles on. I just kind of thumped this one up kind of all by myself here. But the possible problem, hopefully not, but possible problem, right? With drafting a quarterback and having a bridge quarterback, right? If the Giants go next season, and once again, I mean, the thing is that So there's been some movement in the Georgia quarterback. I think now transferred to Miami, so he's not coming out in the draft. But then there's somebody else who is coming out in the draft, and so so we're starting to get a little clearer picture on who the quarterbacks obviously are, who will be in the draft and everything. But you still got a long way to go. Long way to go. You got the East-West, you got the Senior Bowl, the East-West, I guess East-West Shrine Game, I believe it is. Then you obviously got the Combine, you got the Pro Day workouts. Then, see that stuff you can see, and there's all kinds of coverage on that stuff and everything. A lot of stuff you don't. Two things you don't see, or you won't know about, will be the medicals. Nobody sees that, right? The teams see the medicals if there are any issues or anything like that, right? So they can certainly make a decision on that. But also, the sit downs, the conversations that they have, and everything like that you don't see, right? But we got what do we got? The Combine is the end of next month, I believe it is. We've got free agency, right, in March. So, and unbelievable as it is, we're almost halfway through January, right? Crazy as it is, crazy. But where the Giants are picking at third, right? Now, right, with Sean Watson tearing his ACL. That's just unbelievable. That's a story. I mean, that's a story in itself right there. But so now you're not sure what the Browns are going to do. I mean, they might be leaning maybe now more maybe toward, right, trying to get a quarterback, possibly. You're not sure what the Titans are going to do, right? But the thing is that we hear a lot about is that it might be a reach. Might be, right, from people you hear and all and everything, to take a quarterback this low in the draft in the first round, right? The thing to do is, you're trying to take the best player available. You're trying to take, who is worthy of, for the Giants anyway, of the number 3 overall pick. You don't want to take a quarterback. Well, I mean, he's close to being a first round grade. I mean, that's good enough for me. I mean, he might be like early second round, but I mean, early second round is basically a first rounder. And if he's basically almost a first rounder, I don't see why we can't take him at number 2. No, can't do that. You got to take somebody, who you envision. I don't know how many gold jacket guys there are in this draft coming out, but that's what Gettleman said when he was talking about pick number 2. Now, if Saquon led his whole career with the Eagles, you can just turn your head toward Canton, and they'd be carving out Saquon Barkley's bust in Canton right now as we speak, because it'd be just a matter of time for him. But unfortunately for him, he played with the Giants now. I mean, if he plays 3-4 years with the Eagles and he gets 87,000 yards rushing, and of course he doesn't get injured like what he did with the Giants, and he goes to the Eagles and somehow he stays healthy, unbelievable. But if he bangs out 2,000 yard season the next 2 or 3, maybe he does go to Canton. Who knows, right? But what Gettleman was saying when we had pick number 2 was you envision somebody, right, going with a jacket, gold jacket. So, when you're picking this low in the draft, you want somebody who's going to make an impact, right? Now, I don't know if, obviously, only Shane and Dable and company are going to know that, right? Just obviously they're still around. They ain't going nowhere. If they don't feel that one is worthy of both number 3 overall pick, now we're looking at a second round, maybe Jalen Milroe if he makes it that far. Who knows? Or maybe one of these other guys that comes out. Right? There's quite a few. I mean, guys will be taken in the second or third round, right? And maybe you try to develop them, right? And then, of course, you get your bridge quarterback, right? Now, there's going to be quite a few options out there, bridge quarterback. there's the big, and there's always stories. That's what you love about football, right? There's always stories like what's going on with Minnesota. I mean, they got 3 quarterbacks, right? I mean, one of them's Daniel Jones, but Sam Darnold looking really, really good. They got J.J. McCarthy. They got Daniel Jones. Now the interesting thing is, what's what's going to happen next season? Are they going to they're going to keep 2 of them? They're going to, who they're going to keep, who they're going to let go, well, whatever. But Aaron Rodgers could be available. Justin Field. I mean, it's a bunch of guys, right? Sam Darnold, right? There could be quite a few guys available. Who knows? Russell Wilson could be. You don't know. You don't know what the Steelers are going to do, right? So there's a bunch of guys are going to be available. Now, you don't know. Obviously, we're going to bring somebody in for maybe sign for a 2-year contract, right? We draft this quarterback, just saying, throwing out there, Jalen Milroe in the 2nd round. That's all I'm saying, right? Draft him in the 2nd round. We're going to, Shane or Dable's going to try to develop him, right? And we bring in Justin Fields for 2 years, right? Maybe he can get out after 1 year. You sign it for 2, whatever. 2 years, $50 million, $25 million guaranteed, right? So what you do is you pay him the $25 million all up front or in the first year or whatever it is. So the 2nd year you can get out basically without having to pay much of anything, right? The problem with that is that, or especially if you wind up signing a quarterback, your bridge quarterback to maybe 3 years or something like that, right? Like maybe if we were to bring Sam Darnold in, maybe he thinks that he's earned, right, a little bit longer of a contract. Look what I did with Minnesota. We did some pretty good things this year. I want at least a 3-year contract. Well, maybe if they were to bring him in, right? You bring Sam Darnold in, sign him for 3 years, you can get out after 2, right? And I said, then you got Jalen Milroe, right? If you don't take one of these guys up high, which might be a reach, which you don't want to do. So then you got your quarterback of the future, right, with Milroe, and then you got your bridge quarterback. Now the problem is that sometimes what's it saying? Sometimes the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray, or something like that. Or that's what we're going to do, And of course, as we've seen the last couple of seasons with the Giants, right, just go down the dumper, and just say that the problem, right. We're bringing in a bridge quarterback and having him for a couple of years, and then drafting a quarterback as if things go south, right? Because we've seen that happen. A lot of it's something's got to do with injuries, right? But if the Giants wind up going in the dumper once again, and then toward the end of the season, right, the planes start flying over MetLife Stadium. They got that banner hanging on the end. Last couple home games in MetLife Stadium, place is half empty, or the last game of the season we're playing against the Eagles, right? Because it seems like now was it 2022 we played them in Philly, 2023 we played the Eagles in MetLife Stadium, 2024 we played them in Philly. So apparently, I guess for the next 300 million years we're going to play in the Eagles. I guess the final game of the season. But I mean, a lot of games toward the end of the season start not becoming sellouts. People start walking with bags on their heads. The banners start flying over MetLife Stadium with the planes and all of that. Things go south. Which they could, right? Mara also said, I'm starting to lose my patience. Right? If we have 2 seasons with bags on heads, empty seats, banners flying, planes flying over the state, and all that stuff and everything. We're whatever. We have 2 wins, 3 wins toward the end once again. Now I don't. He cleared house with McAdoo, right? Might he do the same thing with Shane and or Dable, right? Interesting. Then the problem with that would be if the Giants just went and spent a 2nd round pick on a quarterback of the future, and then if they have a bridge quarterback maybe for a couple years, I don't know if they would sign him for 3 years or so, but But if you have a quarterback, you're paying money there, and a quarterback in the future, and then all of a sudden you just let the coach go and all that. Now you got to bring somebody in, right? There's always the problem. Vrabel, okay, just went with the Patriots, but it seems like they got themselves a quarterback. Okay, seems like they got themselves a quarterback of the future, right? As of right now, it seems like they do, right? But the Giants, have to bring in a new coach, new coaching staff, and all that, and the guys are not established, right? Meaning the quarterbacks and all and everything, and they bring a new regime in and everything like that. One of the first things they do is they go and they look at the roster and it's like, they got some good guys here, but those aren't my quarterbacks. Yeah. So what are they going to do? Right? Are they going to, the bridge quarterback you have, are they going to try to shoo him out the door and bring somebody else in? They just spent the second round pick on Jalen Milroe. Are they going to give him a fair opportunity, a fair chance to make the right, or are they going to, in their first chance they get, like in next season's draft, right, come out and draft a quarterback? Then you might have a bridge quarterback. You might have Jalen Milroe. You might have things are that bad. You can have Jalen Milroe. You can have Sam Darnold. Then you can draft Archie Manning, right? I mean, how. So then you got your bridge quarterback. Are you going to keep him around? Are you going to let him go and wind up maybe having to pay the guy some dead cap money because you don't want to let him go? Are you going to give Jalen Milroe a fair chance, or are you just going to keep him sitting on the bench, right? After you just spend a second round pick to get the guy, right? And then you draft Archie Manning or whoever if your things go bad. So, they're at a, it's a tough, because they've been there for 3 years, right? The noose around their neck is starting to get a little tight. They don't have much slack, right? They're running out of time, right? They got to really start making things happen. I mean, if they spend all this time, the money, the draft capital to bring quarterbacks in and stuff like that, and if things go south as they can, we've seen that with the Giants. It could really, once again, and if they let them go, bring a new regime in here, we could be looking at. I don't want to say. I mean, I guess maybe in a way having too many quarterbacks is, at least you get your pick of the litter. But you can see with a new regime would come in and would turn and look at the roster, and it's like, well, these aren't my quarterbacks. That's the problem with them, because I mean, now they'll be heading into the year 4 for Dable, and he still doesn't have his quarterback. He spent 3 years with Daniel Jones, and you're trying to mold him and make him into what he would kind of hope and pray would be, but it never worked out. So that's the problem. I mean, that could be a huge problem. I mean, you think, we can draft a quarterback, everything's just going to be hunky-dory. I mean, you see how bad things went this year. Same thing happens next year. How will they even make it to the end of the season? So that's one of the many problems, especially, bringing in a bridge quarterback and drafting a quarterback too. I mean, especially if you draft a quarterback, would he even get a fair chance? Right, because if a new regime comes in and they're like, well, we don't, I never liked Jalen Milroe coming out. We want to get somebody. I mean, so, or what it could wind up being would be maybe even worse, right? Would be the new regime comes in and they give Jalen Milroe a chance, and he doesn't work out. They give Jalen Milroe 2 years and it doesn't work out. Well, now and the Giants are still struggling. Well, now you got a new regime there. They got Jalen Milroe, and he's now, maybe for whatever reason, he's not working out. They got to get rid of him, bring in their own quarterback, and start this all crap all over again. So now the new regime could be into their third or their fourth season, and they still haven't had their quarterback. We're doing the whole same thing all over again. So, man, it just goes to show you how you can see you screw up like one time and it's just knocking all the dominoes over, and you could be screwed for years. So let's hope the Giants get this right going forward. Then also saw this too. How much better was the Giants' offensive line in 2024? Well, it was a little bit better. Okay, it was a little bit better. So Carmen Brasillo Did help. All right, I'm going to share my screen here. The one thing, to be fair, I don't know. I didn't have a lot of time to watch a lot of games this season or follow the other teams as much as I would like to. But the one thing that just kind of a little mind blowing, right, is that our defensive coordinator who went defensive coordinator, Bobby Johnson, our offensive line coach, defensive coordinator, offensive line coach who went to the Commanders, their offensive line, according to PFF. That's all I'm going by. Now, a lot of it might also have to do with because Jaden Daniels is there. That helps a little bit, right? His elusiveness, and that might help. Okay. But they, it just kind of makes you scratch your head, right? Is that they were the 20 by PFF, right? The Washington Commanders last season, 2023. I think they were the 24th ranked offensive line. Now, I said, I didn't break it down. A lot of guys get injured, this, that, and the other thing. I didn't do that. All I know is they were the 24th, I think it was, rated offensive line last season. This season, they went to number 10 with Bobby Johnson, the coach, offensive line coach. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't know how he took them. I knew they drafted somebody and they worked out well. Why he couldn't do that with the Giants, no idea. Maybe it's the scheme. I don't know. Don't know. But how he was able to take the Commanders from number 24 to number 10, and with the Giants were just total trash. I mean, the Giants were injured at injury issues as well in 2023 and all that. So, but I mean, we lost Andrew Thomas for some time last season, right? Right. I mean, remember the hamstring? Right? Remember that? I mean, what 5 minutes into the season, pulls his hamstring, misses a ton of time, right? So, but let me share my screen here, okay? And I'll show you. Now they did get a little bit better. That they did. So let me see here. Yeah, Giants offensive line. Let me share my screen here. Where are we at here? Is it gonna pop up? Oh, there it is. Okay, hold on. Look here. Blocking grades. I don't know if this is 2023 or what is this here? 2024. Okay, that's cool. But you'll notice here, right? The Giants had 11 guys, okay? They had 10 starting offensive line units, okay? But they had 11 guys. Now, if you look here, we'll go from top to bottom. Andrew Thomas had a kind of a downer year, right? But some of that maybe his injuries, were affecting him. But you'll notice here, okay, we had a lot of guys, at least at the 50s. Jay Kubas was 52.2. We had two guys, okay, Stinney and Hubbard. Now, these two guys, okay, and GVR. Where's GVR? Okay, so, yeah. Now, he played all the snaps. I mean, how he played guard and he played center. Might not be a bad idea to see if this guy will want to come back, right? May not be a bad idea. Rated at a 63.4 altogether. He gave up 7 sacks, okay? But if you look here, what did we give up? 15, 16, 17. Who gave up 6? John Michael Smith gave up 6. I said it's 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Maybe 29 sacks all season. I mean, just the offensive line gave up 29 sacks. So, right, according to PFF. But as I said, GBR may not be a bad thing. Maybe bring him back. He graded out of 63.4. Right, very just solid numbers. Nothing super spectacular. I mean, to get scores into the 70s would be really nice. But it is what it is. But you'll notice here, as I said, I think Stinney and Hubbard are free agents. Now, I don't know if we'll be bringing them back or not. We don't know. But if you look here, right, we had 11 different guys. Okay. 9 out of the 11 at least graded out at a 50. Okay. Now, once again, we had 10 starting offensive line units. Now, what also makes this thing that much more, to me, impressive is that there was no Saquon Barkley back there. Okay. Right. Saquon Barkley, changes the defenses around a little bit. right? What they pay attention to, and but I said, but 9 out of the 11 at least graded out at a 50. Okay. Now, if we go to, let me go back to. All right, let me share, and hopefully, let's see, I share my screen. Let me share the 2023. Okay, good. All right, I'll bring this down here. Here we go. Here we go. This should be the 2023 here. Okay, cool. Now you look here, okay. Now with Bobby Johnson, now Andrew Thomas once again rated in the 70s, okay. But here, okay, look. We had 14 guys. Now, obviously, of course, you got to look to Jalen Thomas only, was 3 snaps, but he graded out in the 60s. He said 60, right? But we had like Sean Harlow had 16 snaps. Shane Lemieux at 91. Jalen Mayfield at 47. But I mean, if you look, right, okay, out of the 14 guys, even if you want to throw Jalen Thomas in there, right, who had like 3 snaps, played in 1 game at center, right? Only 4 out of the 14 graded out at a 50. This year with Carmen Basillo, right, 9 of the 11 graded out 50 or above. Here you had McKeithen with a 45, Harlow with a 45, Peart with a 42, Bredesen with a 42, Azuda with a 42, Pugh with a 41, Michael Schmitz 41, Evan Neal 39, Shane Lemieux 34, and Mayfield. So we had 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 guys. 10 guys graded out at below a 50 last year. Now, as I said, let's see, Michael Schmitz was a 41. I forgot what it was here. He went to a 61, okay? Went from a 41 to a 61. His pass blocking, his run blocking got better this year. His run blocking went to a 67. What was it there? Went from a 51. His pass blocking last season was a 26.9. This year was a 50. Right? It was a 50. 50.2. Okay, so his he went from a 41 to a 61. He still has, obviously room for improvement. I really like this. I mean, stuff I hear, and you can see too. Sometimes he gets overpowered. He's not quite, as stout as we'd like him to be. Maybe as strong or as as we maybe like him to be. Maybe if he can work on his some of his strength and everything, that might help him. But this year with Carmen Basillo, we went. John Michael Schmitz went from a 41 to a 61. As I said, last year with Bobby Johnson as our coach, out of the 14 guys, offensive linemen, tackles, guards, and centers, right? 10 out of the 14 graded below a 50. This year, only 2 out of 11 graded below a 50. So the offensive line definitely, stop sharing here. Okay. Definitely got better. Now, there's an article here, too, I want to read. It goes to show you a little bit. I mean, the Giants, the overall team offensive line, according to PFF, went up a little bit. Not a lot. Went up a little bit. But I mean, once again, one of the biggest things is the more the guys play together, right? They know, right? I mean, the Giants, right? When we had Seibert and Deal and O'Hara and Snee McKenzie, they played all whatever it was 4 or 5 years in a row, almost every game. They had that streak going, right? They knew the strengths and weaknesses. I mean, there's cohesion there. They know what each guy's thinking, what each guy's capable of doing, not capable. That's huge. The Giants didn't have that this year. 10 different starting offensive line units. That's tied for the worst. It's very difficult to get good offensive line play when each week you have different guys in there rotating. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Now, once again, you don't know next year, right? The Giants are going to be healthy or not, but you can hope. But so we got this here. It's offensive line here. All right. What we got here? How much did the Giants O-line improve from 2023? A year after being credited with 85 sacks. Thank you, Bobby Johnson. The second most sacks allowed by a team in the NFL began since the NFL began tracking the statistics. The 2024 Giants offensive line appears to be on the upswing. Per Pro Football Focus, the Giants' 2024 O-line, like the 2023 version, went through 10 different starting combinations thanks to injuries. They finished 23rd. Okay. So apparently last season they had 10 units, which is that's the kiss of death. That's just a kiss of death for your team. Absolute kiss of death. You would truly need Tom Brady back there, or Patrick Mahomes, or somebody like that, really, to be able to weather that storm. I mean, that's horrible, absolutely horrible. That's a jump of 7 slots from where the unit finished in PFF's 2023 final rankings. So, let's see, Zoltan Boudet, who ranked the 32 NFL offensive evaluation, said the Giants' best lineup this year was Andrew Thomas, John Runyon, John Michael Schmitz, GVR, and Evan Neal. Ooh, a combination that ironically never got a chance to play together. Closer look at PFF data shows that this line combination was better at pass blocking than at run blocking. PFF has them down for allowing 21 sacks and 125 total pressures. Schmitz finished with the best pass blocking efficiency, presented at 97.1, and Thomas finished with the lowest, 95.9. Now, once again, Thomas had some injuries. Yeah, so hopefully he'll be good to go next season. But surprisingly, though, Jermaine Illuminor, who began the season at right tackle before ending at left tackle, was not included in the 5-man best combination. Illuminor per PFF allowed 29 total pressures, tying him with Runyon for the second lowest among the 5 listed players, making up the best combination. Illuminor was also charged with allowing 4 sacks, the same as Thomas. From a run blocking perspective, the group's star was Neal. Now he's in a phone booth. Put the dude in a phone booth, right, where he's man on man. He doesn't have to worry about people running around him and stuff like that. Put him at guard. Right, he can be getting in there, hopefully blowing guys off the line. Now, if he's blowing defensive ends off, that's because they weigh less. Move him into guard, right, where he's playing up against the tackle. He may not be blowing guys off the line, but he can certainly hold his own because the guy across from him does not outweigh him. Right, he's a sequoia tree. He weighs 330, 340, whatever. The guy across from him does not outweigh him, so he should be able to hold his own. And in pass blocking, he doesn't have to worry about, for the most part, the guy trying to dip, duck, dive, dodge, and duck, right, around them to get to the quarterback, right? From a run blocking perspective, the group's star was Neal, whose PFF run blocking grade was 80.8, the highest of the 11 offensive linemen the Giants put on the field this season. Runyon's run blocking grade 52.3 was ranked out of the Giants 11 was the worst. But overall, though, Carmen Basillo and James Ferentz, in their first season tasked with overseeing the Giants' offensive line's improvement, did an admirable job. They didn't take them from 31 to number 3, but they moved them up. They're in the 20s, the low to 23. Maybe once again, if the guys could stay healthy, same guys play on the field week in and week out, there's no reason why, and maybe especially if they draft a guard or somebody like that in the second round, the third, or tackle, right? Draft a tackle in the second or third, get those trenches, right? Work on the trenches, right? But they can stay healthy next season. Same guys. There's no reason this unit can't get into the teens, upper teens maybe. Okay, I'm not saying number 11, not saying number 9 or 8 or something like that, whatever. But let's see. They did an admirable job. The challenges of having to prepare different starting lines for the last 11 games of the season because of injuries. It's just crazy. That's not bad considering the Giants didn't add any offensive linemen in the draft. They didn't add anybody in the trenches. I mean, unless you want to throw Theo Johnson in there, right, as a tight end. But I mean, they drafted no defensive lineman and no offensive lineman. The offensive line, they brought in a bunch, right? Free agency, right? Something they'll probably change this year as they look to build up the unit's depth. Now, the unit's depth, yeah. I mean, certainly without question. I mean, if they see, and they should have a nice amount of draft picks this season. Okay, without question. I mean, you can never have too much depth, especially on the trenches, right? But I said, but I would love, I mean, just for me, this is just me, right? If now there's a couple good tackles. There's a couple good defensive tackles. That there's the I think I'm going to be talking about him in a minute here. Carter from Penn State. You can never have, and I'm gonna go over this in a little bit. You can never have a certain position, right? I'm going to go over that in a little bit. Build up, get these guys that make a difference in the trenches. Because if you can control the line of scrimmage on the offensive and the defensive side, it's amazing what you can do. I didn't see the game. Not going to see it. I will not watch. If my life depended upon it, I will not watch the Eagles win a football. Not. Absolutely not. If the doctor comes in, I'm on life support. And he said, Jeff, we're going to have to pull the plug on you. But if you sit here and watch the Eagles win a football game, spend 3 hours of your life watching the Eagles, we'll keep the plug plugged in and you're going to live for another 300,000 years. Nope, pull it. I will not watch the Eagles win a football. Absolutely not. Will not. Absolutely not. But there was somebody said something along the lines, I saw in one of the Facebook groups, said something like Jalen Hurts is standing in the pocket for like an hour. Nobody's touching him. You know what I mean? I said, if you can control the line of scrimmage, it's amazing what you can do. So something just to think about. But the Giants' offensive line, they get better. So, all right, then I got this. Some more good news. The entire rookie draft class, the Giants received all rookie honors. Huh? Not too bad. Not too bad. They had 4 guys I think were honored, and they had 3 guys that received honorable mention. And even Elijah Chapman, right, received honorable mention. How cool was that? Huh? So, I mean, tell you, if they can do the same thing again next season with bringing in undrafted free agents or the rookie class and all that, that would be absolutely huge. Of course, once again, the biggest thing is we need a quarterback. But let's see here. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see, the Giants. 4 Giants named to the Athletics All-Rookie team. Cool. Giants' 2024 season did not go as expected. It not only left a lot to be desired, but the way the losses happened and the way player personnel was managed was ugly. Despite all of that, the Giants drafted pretty well last April and had 4 players named to the Athletics All-Rookie team. Now, I could click on that. It's a link there. I can click on the Athletics All-Rookie team, but I think it's a paper, and I need a subscription to be able to view the article in the paper, and I'm not getting a subscription to the Athletics, so I don't know exactly what the All-Rookie team was, but for the Athletics All-Rookie team. 2 players were named to the first team, wide receiver Malik Nabers and Tyler Nubin. Right, so we lost Xavier McKinney, who led the team, of course, and but his team's sitting at home now. They paid the dude $17 million. They didn't win a Super Bowl, so I mean, he got him a lot of interceptions. Tyler Nubin got more tackles than Xavier McKinney. Okay, and Tyler Nubin played in far less games than Xavier McKinney. Xavier McKinney got a lot more interceptions, but once again, Xavier McKinney cost them 17 times the amount of money, and Xavier McKinney right now is doing the same exact thing that Tyler Nubin is, sitting at home, watching the other teams play. So, right. 2 other players were named to the second team, running back Tyrone Tracy Jr., because the dude from, I can't remember his name, but the guy from Tampa Bay, I'm sure he had to be the number 1 guy. But Tyrone Tracy Jr. was the second, had the second most rushing yards of a rookie running back. I think, was it Jaden Daniels or might have been Jaden Daniels, maybe had the second most of all, whatever. But Tyrone Tracy Jr., I believe, had the second most rushing yards of a rookie. And we got him in the 5th round, right? And cornerback Andrew Phillips was on the second team as well. Finally, 3 players were honorable mentions. Theo Johnson, right? Elijah Chapman, and Darius Pimisau. I mean, holy crap, the whole draft class. It's no surprise that Nabers and Nubin were named to the first team. Nabers, selected with the 6th overall pick, finished 3rd among all receivers with 109 catches despite missing 2 games with a concussion. And he finished 7th in receiving yards with 1,204, and he still missed 2 games. Nubin led all. Well, I mean, if he didn't miss those 2 games, right, he might have had a chance maybe to go after OBJ's rookie record, receiving yard record. Now, the thing is, also to be fair with OBJ, is OBJ missed 4 games. OBJ did the 1,300 whatever yards receiving in his rookie season. He only played 12 games. So, yeah. What OBJ did, right, his rookie season was just phenomenal. But you know what? I'm happy with Nabers. I'll take him 10 ways to Tuesday, right? Nubin led all rookie safeties in tackles with 98, even though he missed 4 games. Had he played all the games, he would have had probably over 120 tackles. And once again, he would have led all rookie safeties in tackles, right? So he missed 4 games, and he led all rookies in tackles with 98. Now, part of that is good, okay? Part of that is not so good, okay? When you got your safety, sometimes leading, unless you're bringing them up in the box or whatever. But sometimes when your safety, is getting a lot of tackles, sometimes, I mean, it's good. The good that the dude is there to stop and make the tackles and all that stuff. And that's great. It's fantastic. But sometimes it's not so good because you want to actually stop the guys at the line of scrimmage. You don't want them having to get to the 2nd and 3rd level where the safety's got to make the tackle. But once again, 2nd round pick on a safety, we knocked that up. I mean, Landon Collins, we knocked that out of the park. Xavier McKinney, we knocked that out of the park. Tyler Nubin, once again, our 3rd safety since, 2015. Because Shep was the 2nd round in 2016. So 2015. So basically our last 10 drafts, right? 2015 to 2024. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah. Last 10 drafts, we drafted a safety 3 times in the 2nd round, and all of them been fantastic. Right. And yeah, oddly enough, right? If you think about it, right? All of them were drafted with different GMs, right? Reese drafted Collins, 2015. Gettleman drafted Xavier McKinney, right? And Shane drafted Nubin, right? Go figure. But we've done a fantastic job of drafting safeties in the 2nd round, right? Problem is, unlike the other ones, let's keep these okay? We draft them, develop them, and we keep them, huh? What a concept that would be, wouldn't it, huh? I mean, it's unbelievable. Oh, yeah, this guy's pretty good. Yeah, we'll just let him go. It's like, dude, you kidding me? Yeah. Same thing, right? Well, Collins, he left and he was pissed. Xavier McKinney, he left and he seems like he's holding a grudge, right? He made some sly remarks about Kayvon and all that stuff and everything. So maybe he's holding over a grudge. I don't know, but let's draft the guys, develop the guys, and keep the guys, huh? Wouldn't that be great? Let's see. Tracy definitely surprised people this year, showing off his running back chops and taking over the starting position. He had 6 carries that were 20 yards or more, 1 more than Bijan Robinson, and he was one of 2 rookies to top 500 yards in rushing. Phillips was huge in the run game this season and did well in coverage. The concerns of Phillips ahead of the draft were due to his lack of interceptions. He had 0 in 38 games at Kentucky, but he nabbed his first NFL interception in Week 17, and those fears have been, have been subsided for the moment, right? The three Giant rookies who were given an honorable mention, Johnson, Chapman, and Murasow, all showed that they were solid draft picks with their play in 2024. As the Giants continue their offseason routine, they should be proud to have those guys as part of the team. So finally, finally, how rare, right? That you actually read an article, giving the Giants some compliments, right? Patting them on the back a little bit like that, right? So, but I mean, there's no doubt about it. The Giants draft class this season was absolutely fantastic, and with bringing Chapman in too. Not that Chapman, Chapman was a real good feel-good story. Maybe, hopefully, if he maybe gets a little bit better, right? Maybe he can stick around. That'd be fantastic. But I mean, there's no doubt about it. 2 guys on the rookie class, first team. 2 guys on the second team, and the other 2, 3 of them are honorable mention. But out of our draft, we had 6 draft picks. 2 of them were the first team, 2 of them the second team, and 2 honorable mention. So that's absolutely fantastic. That's literally hitting it out of the park. I said, once again, if Shane can do that again this season coming up, I said, because we should have a full allotment of picks. And hopefully, if you'll also notice, Ben Bredesen was out there as well tonight with the Bucks. We might be getting a 4th-round compensatory pick because of him playing a bunch of snaps with the Buccaneers. Now, we wind up drafting Theo Johnson in the 4th round. Now, if we can draft in the 4th round another good pick like Theo Johnson, we have 2 4th-round might. If we get that compensatory pick, we might have 2 4th-round picks. So between the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round, we could have 5 picks in the first 4 rounds. So, that's so if we can knock it out of the park again like Shane did, that would be absolutely huge. But speaking of Shane, that is it's kind of like, I don't know. There was a report out there that he was talking to Nick McLeod's agent, and he dropped an F-bomb in there and all, which seems kind of, to me, just seems kind of, if that's true, it just seems a little kind of classless and all and everything. But the thing was kind of like they were talking, and they brought up, what Shane was saying, right? How he was talking, right? They didn't talk about how the agent was talking, right? It was just, what negativity do we have going toward the Giants? It was like there was a conversation apparently between, I guess, Shane and because I wanted him to take a pay cut. I got to read an article here, right? Remember that, right? In this season, wanted McLeod to take a pay cut. He was only making $3 million. Wasn't making a ton of money. Wasn't going to save the Giants a ton of money, but it would save him a little something, right? McLeod didn't necessarily have the greatest season with the Giants, right? Defensively. Now that could be a scheme kind of thing, because if you look, I'm going to show you what McLeod did with Wink, right? His grades were higher than they were with Bowen. So I don't know if that was a scheme kind of thing. Don't know exactly, but McLeod was not having a banner season per se with the Giants, and he asked him to take a pay cut. Right? I can't remember exactly how much, but might say it in this article. But he didn't want to do that, and so then wound up letting him go, and he wound up hooking up with the 49ers. Now his grades with the 49ers weren't that great either. Okay, but he at the time, it seemed like he was going to go to a better team. But I mean, the 49ers were better than the Giants. But the 49ers, I mean, it was just, I'm kind of like, every year it was like, oh, what the heck happened with that team? I know they had some injuries, right? But I mean, didn't make the playoffs. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl last year. They looked fantastic. They looked like maybe the team that beat this season all. And this year, they were just like struggled whole year long. Is this it here? Yeah. So, I got a couple articles here to read real fast. 2024 was a miserable season for the Giants. An anecdote from a news story of the team's campaign sheds some light on the way certain players were treated by the front office. So this is, once again, this is a little classless if it's all one-sided. Meaning, actually, Shane shouldn't even, if he did drop the F money. Yeah. I mean, you got to be a gentleman about it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, but show a little more class. Right? Giants wanted cornerback Nick McCloud to take a pay cut, despite being a starter and signing a one-year deal as a restricted free agent before the season. McCloud was willing to remain with the team, but he wanted to stay on the deal that he initially signed. I don't blame him, right? Multiple players say that Shane was so upset during negotiations that he repeatedly told McCloud's representatives, I'm not sure what this means, but don't pay October's rent? All right. As soon as I can replace him, I'm going to replace him. I am not effing around. So if that's what he said, it's to me, that's a little classless. Yeah. But once again, that's what Shane said. We're not sure what the representatives, because obviously a lot of these articles just like to point out negativity. They want you, like what I'm doing. Like, want to get an idiot like me to click on the ad and read it, the article, I'm sorry, and read it, right? Oh my God, he said that, and well, what did the representatives say? How were they talking? Were they F-bombing Shane back? That's possible, but of course they don't put that in the article here because that wouldn't make the Giants look as bad as they could possibly do. Obviously the point of this article is to make Shane look bad. And if, it does make him look bad because it's kind of, you shouldn't be talking like that. I know it's a tough business and all that stuff and everything, but it's a little classless, right? McCloud will go on to play 4 more games, all starts, before being cut by the Giants in early November. He then signed with the 49ers as a part of their practice squad, then eventually moved to their active roster. Shane and the front office appeared to have lost the locker room by cutting McCloud, who Renan says was a well-liked player among his teammates. The Giants were also 2-7 when he was cut, adding more stress and turmoil to a team that had little hope of turning the season around. Giants, let's see. All right, we got another one here. Go fast here. All right, let's see now. Yeah. Okay. Joe Shane's attitude is the talk of the town in 2024 season debacle. His dirty laundry is out in the open. After his off-the-record talk with Nick McCloud's managers leaked, he faced a major backlash from all sides. The ESPN reporter revealed this on January 10th and showed the world how low Joe Shane can go if the team is not performing well. Giants waived cornerback Nick McCloud, who signed a $2.985 restricted tender on November 5th. And after a crushing loss to the Cowboys, and you know what Shane told McCloud's representatives before putting him aside from the roster, he said, don't pay October's rent? All right. As soon as I can replace him, I'm going to replace him. I'm not effing around. That's totally rude. That is. As I said, regardless, okay, if what the representatives were saying on the end of the phone, that's not. Reacting to this, a user wrote on X, guys, blanks at his job. Best part of it all on film, a TV show, LMAO. But you have to ask if he still has his job. Above him, really sort of behavior certainly tracks a huge backlash. After all, McCloud was only making on a $3 million deal. So how can any team's GM talk like that to a professional player? Another one wrote, both he and Daboll should be fired. What player is going to want to sign with the Giants after they went what they did to Barkley and now McCloud? That's some serious talk. Yeah. Yes, I mean, the one thing is, is that you got to look is that you're trying to bring guys in, right? Free agents in to play here. You want to, on the Giants? Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, I heard, they're struggling, but I think I can, if I go there, I think we can maybe win some more games. I mean, they got a great locker room, love the coach, love the organization. I mean, you start getting, bad mouthing and everything. That's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Now, let me show you here. I mean, McCloud, let's see here. Share screen. Again, I'm up here somewhere. Again, I got 72,000 tabs open up here, so please forgive me. Okay, here we go. Now, if you look here, right, McLeod. So this is his 2024 season, okay? Now, you notice here with the Giants, okay, and then with the 49ers here. So now here with the Giants, he graded out a 50.1. He was not doing super spectacular. He was only on it for 170 snaps, 50.1. He had a 25% missed tackle rate, okay? Right? So he had, what do you have? He had an opportunity for 16 tackles. He missed 4 of them. He missed 25% of his tackles. He graded out overall at a 50. His tackling grade was a 30. His coverage grade was a 50. His run defense was a 45.8. You know what I mean? Right? So, but here with San Francisco, when he there, he played what? 3 games here. Played a grand total of 50. What is it? 54 snaps. Graded 57.5. Okay. But you'll notice here he didn't miss any tackles, right? But, so with the Giants, he graded out a 50. Here he graded out 57.5. So he did a little bit better here, okay, with the, with the 49ers. Not too much, but you'll notice here, I want to point out here, when he was with the Giants, when he was with Wink, okay, you look here, first season with Wink, 583 snaps, graded out 65.6. Right, his missed tackle was 4.8. A really good season. 2023, last season, he did a great job on special teams, but his snaps went down a little bit. But 74.8 overall. His missed tackle was 15.4. Nothing super spectacular. Right, could be a little bit better. But 74.8. So once again, that was with Wink. Here with Bowen. Possibly a different defensive scheme, possibly caused him maybe some problem, put him in maybe positions not to be as successful, maybe, don't know, right? But you'll see. I mean, this season he was not doing super spectacular here, right? So it's 51.1 overall. So I mean, he didn't have his best season, either with the 49ers or with the Giants, right? He was graded out in the 50s. Once again, that's only strictly by PFF. I'm not going to ever sit here and say, I broke down all this film and I looked at every snap. No, I don't do that. Don't have time for that. Not going to do that. That's never been me. Never going to be me. But you do notice when he was with Wink, he did a lot better, according to PFF, right, than he did this past season with Bowen. So I don't know exactly what it was, but he was only making $3 million. I know sometimes money's money, and if you can save, I don't know if they were asking him to, how much they were trying to ask him to take a pay cut and save $1 million or something like that. But I mean, once again, if I'm McLeod and I signed a deal for only $3 million, I mean, I don't blame McLeod. But also the other thing too is it's a little bit unexcusable for Shane if he was dropping the F-bomb. That's just unexcusable. You don't do that. That's not good. That's not good business. You don't do that with a representative or a player and all that stuff and everything. And but I mean, you also have to it is a business, and if he thinks it's for the best of the team for McLeod to take a pay cut, or if he thinks that's what you got to go with, all his decisions are not going to be, approved upon by everybody. It's a tough game. It's a tough business, right? But still, that's unexcusable behavior if he did do that. Now, as I said, once again, because of the article is just trying to point out the negativity for the Giants, right? It doesn't talk about what McLeod's representatives are saying. Were they throwing F-bombs at Shane too? Right? Did they leave? Did they just happen to leave that out? Right? That's unacceptable too. If the representatives from McLeod were just talking, oh yes, okay, yeah, no, we don't. If they were talking nice and the only one who dropped an F-bomb was Shane, okay. But what were the representatives saying? Were they throwing F-bombs too? quite possible, and that's unacceptable too. But once again, this article would not bring that up. They're just trying to bring up the negativity for Shane. They're trying to get idiots like me to click on the article to read it. That's what they're doing. So, but either way you look at it, it's unacceptable for Shane to talk like that, because it's going to have repercussions. And I said it could maybe deter some top players, right, from coming here and wanting to play here, right? Then we got, well, of course, you always had this, right? Now with Vrabel, okay, it goes to show you, I even forgot this guy was even here, Ryan Cowden. And now with Vrabel, he might be going to the Patriots. Seeing quite a possibility here. Now the Giants also might try to block him. Now, if it's like a lateral move, they might block him, right? They might also maybe give him a different. They might whatever. I don't know. Give him like what they did with Kafka, right? Assistant head coach, offensive coordinator slash assistant head coach. They gave him, right, a little boost, right? That way Kafka couldn't go from offensive coordinator from the Giants to an offensive coordinator someplace else, right? Because that would be a lateral move, and the Giants may not block that, right? But if he was going from, if he's offensive coordinator slash head coach, right? And if he was just going from offensive coordinator to head coach with the Giants to an offensive coordinator someplace else, that would be like a demotion. Not going to do that. So that's why the Giants gave him a promotion, right? Kafka. Well, I might do the same thing here with Cowden, maybe to keep him hanging around. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one kind of works out. But I said, but a lot of these people behind the scenes, is after a while, I totally forget that they're there. But let's see. I saw this article. Was it yesterday? What was this here? This was today. He's expected to lose Cowden to the Patriots. Now, I do have two articles, right? All right, the Giants have decided to stay the course in 2025, retaining general manager Joe Schoen and head coach Brian Daboll and most of the front office and coaching staff. However, there will be at least one change. Following the hire of Mike Vrabel as the next head coach, Charles Robinson of Yahoo Sports reports that executive advisor Ryan Cowden is expected to leave New York for New England. Now, Charles Robinson, I don't know who that is, said, I'm hearing the Giants personnel advisor, Ryan Cowden, is expected to be added to the Patriots personnel mix, but not with a GM title. I believe Elliott Wolf will retain personal power. However, Cowden's addition to the front office is Vrabel's preference. Dynamics will be interesting. Before the Giants in 2023, Cowden spent 6 seasons with the Titans. Right, as he overlapped with Vrabel, right? Where he began as the director of player personnel. Prior to that, he spent 16 seasons with the Panthers, where he crossed paths with former Giants general manager Dave Gettleman. He climbed the ladder from area scout to director of college scouting. During his time in Tennessee, which spanned from 2016 to 2022, Cowden served as director of player personnel, vice president of players personnel, and interim manager. 5 of those seasons were spent working alongside Vrabel, who was Tennessee's head coach at the time. Cowden also has close ties to Shane, who were good friends that met during their time with the Panthers when Shane was a scouting assistant many moons ago, right? Then I got this here, right? Okay. Just go up here. That's Giants expected to lose executive to an AFC franchise, per report. Giants have decided to stick with general manager Joe Schoen and Daboll. Okay, we got Charles Robinson relayed that I'm hearing Giants personnel advisor Ryan Cowden is expected to be added to the Patriots personnel mix. Robinson added that Cowden is not likely to receive the GM title with the Patriots. I believe Elliott will do that. Ironically, most thought that Vrabel's hiring in New England meant the Giants might lose defensive coordinator Shane Bowen to the NFC East franchise. Instead, it's Cowden that could skip town to join Vrabel's Patriots. Giants could attempt to block Ryan Cowden to the Patriots, says reporter. The Athletic's Dane Dugan followed up on the news, reacting, interested to see how this plays out. Giants have been circling the wagons or protecting themselves from external damage or danger. When asked to expand on his comment, the New York Giants beat reporter noted, word is the Giants are keeping Bowen and will block any Mike Kafka requests. Wow. So not sure if they'll treat Cowden the same. He also confirmed that the Giants could attempt to block New England from bringing in Cowden, assuming it's some sort of a lateral move in terms of a job title. So if it's a lateral move, they might block it. They have that. They have that option, right? They can also elevate him, make him something else, right, and make it where they move him up. Right. And, if he was going to go to the Patriots, it would be some type of a demotion. Right. So that's not something they're going to do. So they be interesting to see here. Cowden does have a history working with Vrabel. Both made a name for themselves as a coach and executive inside the Titans organization. After starting out with the Panthers, Cowden joined the Titans as a director of player personnel in 2016. Vrabel was later hired to the head coach in 2018. Same year, Cowden was promoted to the vice president of player personnel. Right. He also served as Vrabel's interim general manager in 2022 following John Robinson's dismissal as GM. Let's see. In related news, the New York Post, Paul Schwartz revealed Bowen could stick around in 2025 despite Vrabel getting the Patriots job. Expect Shane Bowen to be back with the Giants for a second season as a defensive coordinator. Sure, the less than shocking news Sunday that Mike Vrabel was hired as the Patriots head coach sparked speculation that Bowen could be headed to New England, considering Bowen made the calls on defense for 4 years when Vrabel was the Titans head coach. He acknowledged, adding, the belief, according to sources, that Bowen wants to remain with the Giants and that Vrabel is thinking of going in a different direction as he assembles his new coaching staff. So, but of course, although Bowen's defense failed to impress in 2024, the Giants have also preached the benefits of continuity, whether it's in president and CEO John Mara keeping Shane and Dable or the latter pushing to retain his coaches. We'll continue to monitor if either Cowden or Bowen reunite with Vrabel in the coming days or weeks. So stuff to keep an eye on. Certainly something to keep an eye on. They certainly, Giants, if it's kind of a lateral move, they can block it. Right. Same thing with Bowen. If it's from defensive coordinator to defense coordinator, if they choose, they can block it. Right. So it's certainly something to keep an eye on. I said, but sometimes you get these guys and they go in the front office and all that, and you don't hear much about them. I even forget they're on the team. Right. But just goes to show you, right, that these guys are, in the background, right? They're at a limelight and all of that, but they're very important. I just forget about them because I'm so used to talking about Shane and Dable, maybe even Brandon Brown, guys like that. I forget about Cowden, forget all about them. And then finally, got right here, this one here. All right, you got to fill this in. You got to help me out here. You can never have too many. And if you fill the puzzle out right, you come up with edge rushers, right? Can never, ever have too many edge rushers. Boy, I'll tell you what. Now, I'm not saying that Carter here, okay, is all of that, right? You can never have too many guys rush the passer. I mean, it almost gets to the point where it's like, it's like, okay, we got two guys who can rush the passer, and then the draft rolls around, and in the first round, the Giants take a pass rusher. It's like, why are we taking a pass? We got pass rusher. We have so many other holes. What do we? You can never have too many pass rushers, right? Because also, let's not forget, we're probably going to lose Azeez Ojulari. Now, I don't blame Azeez. But also, like, I don't blame the Giants if they don't re-sign him, right? Because Azeez is going to want to get paid. I don't blame him. Azeez is going to want to go someplace where he's going to play more snaps. I don't blame him there either. The thing is, with the Giants, what are the Giants going to offer him? And what is Azeez? Azeez, I'm going to get injured, guaranteed this season, Ojulari. Unless he plays for the Eagles, because apparently nobody in the Eagles ever gets injured. But for the most part, Azeez is going to get injured. So, but Azeez is going to want to, get something. I don't know what he's, what he's going to get offered, because he does have a history of being injured, right? But he's going to want to, if he has like whatever, 3 teams that are interested in him. Just throwing a number out there. That's all I'm saying. I have no idea. But say there's 3 teams. He can obviously step back and look, what's this team offering? What's this team offering? And he looks at their roster and it's like, all right, well, this team, they got 2 other guys. I might be battling out with them. I might be on the sideline. This team, same thing. They got 2. They might have 3. I mean, I might be way on the back. This team over here, they're offering about the same amount of money, but I might be the starter. And that's what he was with the Giants, right? When he was healthy, right? But he's going to want to play. I don't blame him. Or he might step back and it's like, well, they got 2 edge rushers, okay? But he might step back and think, but they're offering me the most money. And you know what? They got 2 edge rushers, okay? If I'm the 3rd one, but I get injured all the time. So would it behoove me, right, to be on a team that has 2 edge rushers, right? I would be the 3rd. If I'm on the sideline, right, I only play 30 or 40 snaps. I'm going to get a decent amount of snaps in there, but they're going to pay me some money too, right? The Giants want to bring me back, I don't know, $5 million a year. I'm just throwing a number out there. I have no idea, right? But this team's offering me 7, 3 years, $7 million a year. They're going to offer me $12 million guaranteed. The Giants want me for 3 years, but they're only going to give me $8 million guaranteed. I don't know. So I got $4 more million guaranteed in the next 3 years. And that's if I get injured or not. It's $4 more million for me. Now, of course, he doesn't get all the money. There's taxes, and his agent takes money and all what. You know what I mean? But right, so sits back and looks. Where's the best possibility for me to go? So I mean, there's a real good chance. He goes elsewhere. Because I mean, as long as the Giants, I got Kayvon and they got Bernsey, right? They're not. He's not the starter, unless one of the guys is injured. If Kayvon or Bernsey is injured, he's in, and we know he can be really productive. Problem is, every freaking year he gets injured, as he did this season. He hardly played. He didn't play a lot this season, and when he came in for Kayvon got in with his wrist, right? Well, he got injured. That's all he does, gets injured. So. I'm sure the Giants would want him back, but it would have to be on the cheap. I mean, and he's not going to play on the cheap, and he's anyone who wants to play. So, I mean, it's like oil and vinegar, right? Giants want him on the cheap. He's going to want to get money. The Giants have 2 edge rushers, right? So his playing time is going to be down here, and he's going to want to play. So, like oil and vinegar, it doesn't mix, right? It doesn't make sense for the Giants to go. Or for Azeez to come back with the Giants. So he's probably going to go elsewhere, right? Once again, I don't blame him. But, we think back, okay? We think back now, to be fair, right? To be fair. The Giants had, going in their first, in 86 and 90, when they won their first 2 Super Bowls, okay? They had, Lawrence Taylor, right? They also had Leonard Marshall, okay? They had, 86, they had George Martin. Okay, but I mean, the pass rush that maybe they're like a 3-4, right? And then they had Lawrence Taylor. But when you have Lawrence Taylor, it's like almost rushing like 5 guys. I mean, you got 3. And Lawrence Taylor, it's close to rushing like 5 guys, right? So the Giants didn't have a plethora of all kinds of edge rushers and stuff like. They didn't have that. Okay, really weren't edge rushers back then. They were more like just defensive ends, right? But they had Lawrence Taylor. Now in the more modern era, now that we came into the 21st century, right? We're talking about, in We had Justin Tuck, right? You can put him on defensive end or defense. For the Super Bowl 42, we had Michael, we had OC, and with Justin Tuck. 3 guys who can rush the passer. Maybe not all edge rushers or whatever, but we had 3 guys that can rush the passer, right? Fast forward to 2011. We didn't have Michael, but we had OC, we had Justin Tuck, we had JPP. We had 3 guys that can rush the passer, right? So, having guys that can rush the passer. I said, look how successful the Eagles were a couple of years ago. They had all those guys. I forgot what it was. They had 5 guys, was it? That had double-digit sacks. It was 5, I think it was. Obviously, it's a record. Yeah, I mean, they're bringing guys in off the out of the stands, double-digit. It's crazy, crazy. Once again, can you control the line of scrimmage? But also, it's a passing league game too. Yeah. Now let me look up here real fast. I think I'm going to have to. Okay, let me go to. Now I think Carter was either 2024. Okay, let me go here to tools. Let me go to draft board. It pops up here. Draft guide. Draft big draft board. Okay, I think he's either number 2 or 3. He's number 2. According to PFF, all I'm going by, right? Travis Hunter is number 1. Abdul Carter is number 2. He's their second-ranked guy. Now, he may not even make it to the Giants, right? There's McMillan, the wide receiver, is number 3 from Arizona. There's Mason Graham, who I would like, defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman for the Giants there. Put him in next to Sexy. You got Kayvon, you got Burnsy, you got Sexy, you got Graham. That would be a nice foursome right there, right? You got Ginty, Ashton. The running back. Oh my God, the guy's a beast. Will Johnson, the cornerback, somebody to keep an eye on. Starks, the safety. Well, we do need a safety. Pinnock leaves, so. But I don't think we ain't taking no safety in the first round. That's not happening. Will Campbell, who's a tackle. Burden from Missouri, a wide receiver. Scarton, an edge rusher from Texas A&M. Jalen Walker, a linebacker from Georgia. Josh Simmons, a tackle from Ohio State. So there's some good players there. But the thing is here with Abdul, and I said, and you also notice as I read those first 10, 11, right? You didn't hear a quarterback. Quarterbacks are kind of far down. Actually, I mean, let's see how far do we got to, how low do we got to go here, or how high do we go, whatever you want to go. How low do you got to go? Cam Ward is number 17, right? So according to PFF, Cam Ward is the 17th best player in this entire draft. Right? Shador is even farther down. Shador, where is he? He was 29th before last time I looked. Okay, so he's not in the top 25. Let me go to the next page here. Where's Shador at? Shador, after his bowl game. Shador is not even in the first round. TJ Sanders, where is Shador at? Did I miss him? Oh, he went to number 42. He was 29 before the bowl game. Now he's number 42, according to PFF. So PFF, I think, if I read it correctly, I think they have one quarterback with the first round grade, or one quarterback in the top 32, right? But getting back to edge rushers, Abdul Carter, I mean, he really looked pretty good. He got a sack. He got a strip sack against Notre Dame. He really graded out very well this year. Somebody to keep an eye on now. Of course, he is number 2, all right, by PFF. Okay. Now, of course, Hunter is up there. Let's not forget about him. And if Hunter goes, right, if one of these other teams, Tennessee or Cleveland, takes a quarterback, just saying, right, that might possibly leave Carter there, right, for the Giants. Yeah, that's something to really think about. You can't have too many edge rushers. Cannot. It might even be something, I mean, might put us a little light in the butt, right? But some downs you put Kayvon in, or maybe a three technique or something like that. You put sexy over right, and you have him consume some blocks, right? Put Kayvon in there, put Carter. I mean, maybe on fourth downs, right? Maybe on fourth downs. I'm not sorry, fourth downs. Third down passing situations, third down and 13 or whatever, something like that. And you want a bunch of edge rushers and guys, and they could just rush the quarterback in there. Get those four guys in there. So you can never have too many edge rushers. I said, let's not forget. I mean, one of the things that was absolutely huge for the Giants, especially in Super Bowl 42 when we took down the Patriots. We hit Brady, we hit him. We had 5 sacks of him. We hit him. It was a thing of beauty. When the other team's quarterback drops back to pass, and the clock is ticking, that within 3 seconds or so, one of your players is going to get free and come in and almost get a shot on the court. That's a great feeling. That's the way I felt when we had Lawrence Taylor back in the 80s. Watching the Giants, it's like seeing the other quarterback drop back to pass, and you just counted 1, 2, and you waited for like maybe 3 or something like that. Waited for Lawrence to break through and just come and cream the quarterback. You can never have too many edge rushers. Never. Guys who rush or guys who can rush the quarterback, shall I say, right? So if they think that Graham here, who's like the according to PFF, number 4 guy, if they think he can get, I don't think he's that super spectacular as far as rushing the quarterback, but he's good at consuming blocks, right? Stuff in the middle, which would be huge. Could keep maybe McFadden or Karake free to do some roaming. That would be huge, right? So, which also brings me back to my point is that, controlling the line of scrimmage is huge, right? Now, whether it's, getting edge rushers who can rush the quarterback, right? Because teams just throwing the ball a lot, right? Or somebody who can be put next to Sexy Dexy and clog up the middle, right? And allow our linebackers, right, to roam free, right? I mean, you got Sexy who needs a double team. Somebody's got a double team. Your other defensive lineman, right? That's 3 or 4 players that's being, taken up just to try to block 2. That allows your linebackers a lot more flexibility. I mean, if you got somebody double teaming Sexy and you got somebody double teaming single teaming Nacho, and then you can have maybe a tackler or guard get to the second level and block McFadden, and another tight end comes out and tries to take out a character, right? If it's a good blocking scheme or whatever it is, now you got holes. Now McFadden can't roam because he's got a tackle trying to take him out. Karake can't do his thing because he's got somebody trying to take him out. Right? Who's going to make the tackles? Well, I guess maybe Tyler Nubin. Right? 5, 10, 15 yards downfield. Right? So you can never have too many guys on the line of scrimmage. Beefing up the line of scrimmage is never a bad thing. The problem is with the Giants, I mean, on the defensive side, we've done okay. We've done okay. Kayvon, would I like Kayvon to be better? Absolutely. Pick number 5. Yeah. But our problem is that we've done a lot of drafting, a lot of offensive linemen, and I'll tell you what, we have Andrew Thomas. Okay, I'll give you that. But boy, I'll tell you what, you got Andrew Thomas, and then you go to all the other guys that we've drafted. I mean, oh my goodness. McKeithen, and Zudu, and Neal, not saying maybe, or John Michael Schmidt, other guys we've drafted recently who have really not totally flourished. I mean, we've had a little bit of a deficiency on the offensive line, but I'll tell you what, as I said, you fill in that thumbnail, all right, you can never have too many edge rushers, and that's so true. So if if Carter, if he seems to be all that in a bag of Doritos, I'll tell you what, I might have to think about scoffing him up. But, I mean, Burnsy, Kayvon, and Carter in there, man, that would be a nice threesome, real nice threesome. And then you can wave Azeez Ojulari bye-bye. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 39 minutes. Holy cow, I'm just shooting my mouth off there. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.